Hey, this is Scott Spears, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another edition of The Exchange here on WGH Talk, joined by Matt Morgan, and returning after a 2-week absence, Kerrington Nelson. And we thank Mary Ellen Withrow for being here the last 2 weeks. We had a lot of fun with that. And all the people who were on the Friday night program on the radio for filling in during those 2 weeks. But you were gone. You were in Hawaii, and...
Oh, and I went to Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Oh, Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
Yes.
I had that totally wrong. I told people you went somewhere else.
Well, I also visited Charlotte.
That's what I thought.
Charlotte.
I thought you went to a Carolina.
Yes, Charlotte, whichever Carolina that's in.
North.
That's,
you don't know where you were?
I was in Charlotte. That's
you
where I was.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yes, yeah. We only went there for a day just to kind of visit the
capital
area.
of North Carolina.
North Carolina. Don't worry about that.
One of the Carolinas. It's like North and South Dakota, like the Dakotas.
So, how was Hawaii?
It was.
Do you still have your orange fingernails?
I still have my orange nails that I got specifically for Hawaii, and they fit in well there. I think that was a good choice. So I felt good about that. But Hawaii was so beautiful. If people have not gotten to go and you get a chance to go, I recommend it. Except for the 7-hour plane ride there from Denver to Hawaii that we had to take. That you're sitting on the plane and you're like, I can't remember a time before I was on this plane. Like, you get very trapped feeling on that plane. But if you can overcome that, it's great.
Hey, so we're about to take a 7-hour car ride to Philadelphia, right?
I didn't know that actually. So we have things to discuss.
We'll discuss as time goes on.
Nope.
But you know what I was looking at there, which is far more important at this point. I think those are your real fingernails, right?
The long ones?
They're long.
No, my real fingernails are down here.
But your orange ones were not that long when you left. I don't remember them being like that when you left.
Well, they're growing out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
no.
I see now.
A little gap in there?
I see now.
Yeah, no,
these aren't real. Oh,
no,
okay.
they're not real.
Oh, I thought they were painted.
No,
they're press-ons.
Yeah,
and now they're kind of coming out of there because we see your real fingernails.
Yes, they're growing out. Yeah, they don't look so good anymore.
No, you just reminded me of Edward Scissorhands for a second.
Right?
I didn't know what was going on.
They're like a weapon. I could throat chop somebody with these bad boys.
Hey, well, don't do that in my direction.
Well, I'm just saying. Sorry, I could throat chop somebody with these bad boys.
I have a rug like this. I think somewhere. I think I have a rug like this.
So you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
That's
what that means.
Every time I've looked at my rug, I've said, boy, if that were just a shirt, man, then I'd be set. I could go all over town.
A man 3 weeks ago, I was wearing a sweater, and he said, oh, is that like an animal or something? And I was like, no, this is just a sweater. And he was telling me about how he got his cats made into little rugs.
Wait, whoa!
It was dead cats into rugs that he put over his couch, to feel, because they were soft.
That's a class act.
And he loved my sweater. He was like, I would wear that. I was
Where
like,
do you meet these people?
At a record shop, this guy. So, makes sense.
See, you don't want to be in record shops.
Don't go in record shops.
He sounds like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre guy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't want people...
It's the way he mourned his cat. I don't know. He wanted to feel it forever.
Whatever, man. Whatever.
You do you, sir.
Yeah, that's right. Each their own.
Yes.
Speaking of the Marian Star, which nobody was, but I'm going to speak about it. That was
a smooth transition.
That was a smooth... Because we weren't getting anywhere near newspapers talking about some man's dead cat sweater. But I needed to get off of that because we got stuff to talk about here.
Do.
Because on the front page of today's paper, I'm going to let Matt read this because I believe, in modesty. Thank you very much. Go ahead, Matt. Open it up.
Local radio personality Spears to be presenter at WWE Hall of Fame ceremony.
Now read a little bit if you like, just so people get what we're talking about.
The WWE announced legendary professional wrestler Thunderbolt Patterson, who appeared in Marion in the 1960s and 70s, would be inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame on April 5th in Philadelphia.
Yes, and the point of this is that April 5th, 21,000 people at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love where the Constitution was signed and the Liberty Bell is, Thunderbolt Patterson will be inducted into the Hall of Fame. Now, that's good enough because he's a dear friend of this station. But when asked who he would like to induct him...
Scott Spears.
Exactly. So, they have called, and I have said, I'll be there. So, on Friday night, April the 5th, 21,000 people, sold out already, Wells Fargo Center. What are you pointing at?
Sorry, I was
doing a promo, don't you know?
I was going to read it, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Patterson, who has appeared on WGH at many times since 2016, said if it was not for wrestling personalities Geraldo Briscoe and Bruce Pritchard, journalist Mike Mooneyham, and Spears for keeping him alive, the induction into the Hall of Fame would not have happened.
Now, if you go in here, because let's go.
You saved his life?
Listen, I've saved many people's lives. You know how many people died on the air that I've had to save your life a couple times.
What?
I've saved. You just don't read. Oh, look, see right here's the picture inside.
Aww.
Isn't that a nice picture?
That is a good picture.
We're a nice family, don't we?
Oh,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
Oh, yeah.
A nice family.
Read a little further.
Let's see here. Patterson has asked Spears to be his presenter during the April 5th induction ceremony, which will be broadcast live at 10 p.m. on the Peacock Network. This is such an honor for me, Spears said. I have been friends with Thunderbolt for many years, and there is no one more deserving of this honor than him. For him to ask me to induct him is one of the great honors I've ever received, and I don't take that lightly. I have been a fan of pro wrestling over the years, and the WWE has been nothing but great during this process, he added. Spears is an Associated Press award-winning journalist who has interviewed people such as Dr. Maya Angelou, Bill Cosby, Phil Donahue, Betty White, Larry King, along with 5 Ohio governors.
No, that's right. I'm going to get a shirt made, I think.
Now with Scott Spears can be heard weekdays 8:15 to 10 live at WWGH 107.1.com.
Put a point in there.
Or by downloading the free TuneIn app, or the free radio app TuneIn and searching WGH Talk.
So in any event, I'll be out there with Thunderbolt. 21,000 people all over the universe. The WWE universe is very big. 200,000 people in Philadelphia over 2 days. Unprecedented access will be given to this station thanks to the WWE, who I had a conference with yesterday. Talked to their producer, who's going to be handling that segment. So it's going to be big.
Great people.
They really are. I mean, I have nothing bad to say at all. So it's going to be exciting. You're going to want to watch it. It's going to be historic. It's going to be once in a lifetime. It really is. This moment will live on the WWE network on Peacock forever. And if you miss this, I mean, you've missed it. I mean, really,
What would you rather be doing with your life on this day?
I just don't know. You cannot say it's not like one of those things where you go, I'll do that next week. You know, it just isn't going to be that way. It's a thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So are you excited?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Are you excited?
I am. I mean, I'm finding out a lot of information live right now. So.
Well, this is just, I remember you being communicative and asking me any information.
I did not communicate and ask. I was like, I know we'll discuss in person, so
oh, right.
I was
you
counting
know
on
everything's
this.
okay.
Yes,
You got the big Eclipse event coming up on Monday. We're not going to give many more details on that, but that's moving along very smoothly.
Yep.
I think that's almost a done deal at this point.
It seems that way.
Seems that way.
I'm so excited. So much to discuss.
There's so much going on.
Oh, wow.
Oh, get my papers now. I'm so excited tonight. I'm throwing the notes on the floor. Let's get into a topic, because that is something that we haven't done. Well, we've done it on this show, but we've done more current events than these little sociological studies. But we'll get back to the sociological studies now, because you're
now
back.
that I'm back.
And we know that current events aren't exactly your strong suit.
They're not my cup of tea.
So we're coming back to things like The Bachelor. We haven't mentioned The Bachelor in 2
oh
weeks
my
on
gosh,
this show.
they have the winner. They picked her.
Bachelor Joey. Joey says, now he's engaged to this girl.
Okay.
Now they've given him a ring.
Already?
Yep.
He put
That's how the show ends. You get engaged at the end.
Yes, apparently.
That's how it ends.
This show's a trap.
He slapped a ring on it. But here's the point. This is the news story here. Bachelor Joey says he doesn't want to rush down the aisle. He wants a long engagement with this girl.
Yeah, they said they wanted like a 2 to 3 year engagement.
2 to 3 year engagement.
I don't know. I think if you just, I don't know. You might be.
Anyways, the question is,
6.
the question is for the panel here: are long engagements good?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think? I didn't even have to finish.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to finish the sentence there.
Oh yeah, I think they're great. I mean, I think that you should probably have the long engagements, because I don't know that. I mean, I just think that rushing into the marriage is probably not the best idea, because then once you get the paperwork, fully signed out, it's a lot harder to back out of than just saying,
You're not getting that ring back. You're not getting that ring back. Girls like to sell those. Pawn shops are full of engagement rings. They're full of wedding rings. They are. It's a sad thing, really.
So funny.
You want to see love, go to the pawn shops. That's where the love is.
I think that in this instance, it's definitely a good idea, considering they
don't know each other.
Yeah, they don't know each other.
These people don't know each other.
No. So
they aren't staying together.
No. The fact that they got engaged, if they hold it out, I think that'll be fine. Like, give them the 2 to 3 year engagement, and hopefully then they'll realize if they want to actually get married or not.
Listen, here's the deal. How many people on this show, on the 500 years it's been on, have ever gotten married?
Like
2?
A couple more than that.
Maybe. How
But,
many people
like,
have stayed married?
Yeah, that's the real question.
Two?
Yeah, no,
One?
a couple more than that. There's a couple.
Couple.
Like, there's a couple that
Couple.
have worked out.
You know,
So
you
the
know,
percentage on this show is like 5% success
No,
rate?
probably like 10 to 20.
20, you're going too high.
10,
gonna have
10
to
to
do
20.
it.
It's not 1 in 5. It's not 1 in 5. But here's my point about long engagements. This is life in general. It doesn't even have to be about engagements. The truth is, as we've said many times, when you first meet somebody, it's all love because it's the first time and it's everything. It's the first time we went to the zoo together. It's the first time we went to the park together.
You have everything to talk about.
Exactly. And trust me, a year into that thing, you've got nothing to talk about. You're just waiting for a break. And that's why things don't work. I mean, how many people have started dating why would you start dating somebody if you didn't like them? But it ends within 2 or 3 years, and you say, ooh, boy, wow, I'm not feeling what I was feeling in the beginning. Not feeling that anymore. So that's essentially why I think long engagements are good, because what you're feeling now, you aren't going to be feeling in a couple years.
Well, especially in an instance like this where obviously, they've spent maybe a total of 48 hours together, so like they don't know each other.
48 hours, let's get engaged.
Yeah, like that's
This is Vegas.
We know each other on the deepest of levels at this point.
Yes, well,
the
they
engagement is just
certainly
for the
do.
show, but I think they're being responsible about it. If they're like, we're not going to get rushed into the marriage thing, like that's the smartest thing to do.
The second they signed up for the show, the responsibility went out the window. These are not responsible
Well,
folks.
they're hopeless romantics, maybe.
They're hopeless. You got half of that right. They're hopeless.
So, yeah, I think that was a wise decision. I think that if you had been with somebody for several years, I wouldn't want to personally have a super long engagement.
So how many years are we talking?
I don't know, if you feel ready to get married to somebody.
Oh, see, right there.
Yeah, you see, but that's
You're
the
in
issue.
bad territory.
Well, you see, because there are a few people like I've talked about it before. Personally, I know somebody who's been in a relationship for when they got engaged, it was 6 months.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know that
They felt it.
I don't know that when you feel you're ready to get
No. I'm talking once you've already been with this person for 3 to 5 years or something, then
3 to 5 years is pretty
I don't need to wait and have a 2-year engagement after that.
I think you should probably still have
that's
a 2 year
fine.
engagement.
I don't care. But the deal is that anything under 3 years, living together, whatever. I mean, I really think you're pushing your luck.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think you definitely need to make sure that forever isn't a forever feeling,
Forever. See, but that second forever doesn't come till one day.
Well,
It'll come one day. I'm telling you, it just does. There's ooh.
well, that's you need to
Forever's a long
be
time.
Yeah, forever's
pretty
a
far
long
in
time.
before you realize.
Yeah.
So
Goes from you're the one to forever. Forever. So these people, that ain't happening. But
I have a friend recently that was telling me that she thinks that her boyfriend might propose.
is she happy?
Oh, we
How long
started
have they
having
been
this
together?
conversation. They've been together
Why does she think this? What
maybe
did he
a
do?
year.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
They've just been talking about it, and he will say things, and so she's
Oh.
wondering if that's where it could be headed.
I'd shut this man down real fast.
And, I was I asked her, I said, "Are you feeling forever?" And she was like, "It's a little she's a little nervous." I was like, "Oh, okay, girl. Yeah, I'm nervous for her. So we'll see how
What
it
counsel
goes."
did you give this girl?
I was just like, if that's what you want, make sure you think about it.
Oh.
I mean, I'm not going to be the one to not be supportive, because if she's already made up her mind.
You don't want to support a train wreck?
Well, yes, but in the sense that that's your friend, I think that telling them how you feel, if they ask you, you can tell them the honest truth.
So you weren't honest?
I'm not saying I wasn't honest.
You sound like you were a little shaky.
Yeah, because
Can I
if
send
she's
her a
already,
copy of the show? What's her name?
No. If she's already made up her mind
wanna
on
send her a
doing
copy.
it, though, me
clearly-
saying maybe you should think about that
Right.
isn't going to change anything.
Exactly.
Well, I don't-
So I just have to choose at a point to be her friend
Well, I
and
don't know.
support
I mean,
her.
I think that if you get a few of your friends to say you might want to think about this, then I'm whether you do or not is up to you. But I think once a few people start suggesting that you might think about it a little longer, you might start thinking about it a little harder.
No, see, I disagree with that, because once they're in that stage state of you're the one, and I've
That
never
is
been anybody
the
like
in the headset?
there ain't you.
Yeah, they're gonna
100
just feel
people
not
could line up.
supported by their friends. I think.
Right, but see, now this is where I disagree with you because I still think you need to be on the record as saying it.
Oh, yes, I
Because-
agree. I did. I was like, are you sure that's something you're ready for? Like, I tried to, like, ask her questions. I didn't want to say,
It ain't
I
gonna
think
stop
that's a
them.
bad
Don't think it's
idea.
gonna stop them. It's
Yeah.
not gonna stop them.
But,
Don't,
like-
don't be under that delusion.
right.
But I think you do need to be on the record as saying, maybe not the
brakes.
greatest idea. Maybe you should think about this more.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. Because the problem here with what you're saying is she's not going to say no because she doesn't want him to leave. So even if she doesn't want it, she knows that a no is bye-bye. And that's essentially the problem with engagements.
Well, I mean, I tried to ask her. I was like, "Is that something that you're wanting? Like, even though you're feeling that, like, oh wow, like, you know, that's a big commitment, obviously." And she's like, "Yeah," like, and I was like, "Okay," but
She wants it.
That's what she says.
But you don't believe that.
I'm not that I don't believe it. I'm just like, after 9 months to a year, are you sure? Like, that forever? You do? Like, I'm like, I don't think that you're genuinely able to commit to something like that quickly.
I mean, so I'm always under the impression that a true friend just is 100% honest. Okay. You
Well,
should have just told her that that's probably not the good idea.
But then she's going to feel unsupported by me and not want to share things with me in the future.
see, no, you're as bad as the engagement person because that's essentially the whole problem that's going on there. She doesn't want to be engaged, but yet she doesn't want to tell him that because she knows then it's all over. And you don't want to tell her your true feelings because you're afraid she's not going to confide in you. If people just told people how they feel, we wouldn't have this problem.
honest.
I'll still tell her how I feel, but I don't want her to think that I'm like,
sounds like you
don't
did.
do this. I'm gonna be mad at her. Like,
No,
oh,
you don't
have to be
like,
fierce.
See, there's no like I'm gonna be mad. It's just like personally, I think this is a bad idea.
Yeah, I say, listen, at 9 months, you know, I've known a lot of people who have not survived that. I think maybe you might want to slow it down because it's hard to say no when the ring has popped out. So maybe you might want to drop a hint now or there.
Yeah, I will. I'll bring it up. That's why I wanted to bring it to the table. We could discuss it.
I bet you did.
I
Bring it to the
did.
council.
I bet you were looking.
I brought it to the
Now, how did you
council.
know that we were going to be discussing this?
I didn't. You brought that up, and
Right,
then
so-
I was
so-
like,
but
oh,
you
this
said
is a
you-
perfect
you did
coincidence.
perfectly way.
Yeah,
It
perfect.
did.
What's
It did.
right?
It was just like
no,
it
you
slid
tell
right
her.
in there.
You tell her. I don't care if you tell her
Okay.
or not, but you better tell her.
Okay, be honest.
Because yes.
I gotta
Yeah,
tell
absolutely.
her. Okay.
You gotta
okay.
tell, and not that you, and you say, listen, I'm not saying this to be mean.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is 9 months is not a long time, and you can. I wouldn't do it because I think that gives it some relevancy. Because then
Right.
you're saying you're not
Like,
saying
if I
me.
was in that position,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that.
If I was in your position, I wouldn't do it.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it, because that'll make her think. Hopefully,
Hopefully.
yeah. I would
I'll
think.
report back and let you know how the conversation goes.
God bless this poor girl's heart. You know, she doesn't say any of that garbage like he's the one, and I've never met anybody like him before.
No, she's not like that. She likes serious relationships though. So like she's had this
What's the difference between a relationship and a serious relationship?
probably longevity. Like she's had a couple like
What's the timeline?
2
here?
to 3 year long relationships.
Like 4 months. It's still short term. 5 months. It's
no, that's what I'm
serious.
saying. 2 to 3
So you
years.
can't be
like-
serious at 4 months?
I mean, you can, but like
What's
if
that,
you were
casual?
to break up, everyone would be like, okay, like, you know, they obviously weren't that compatible. Like 4 months, like I feel like 2 to 3 years is like, well,
She
you know,
wasn't the one.
they put up with each other for a while. Like they
She wasn't the one.
gave it a good fight. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think it should be a fight, but that's a whole nother
See,
thing.
personally, my one of my favorite quotes about relationships comes from Scott himself.
Thank you very much.
When the train comes to the last stop, you
get off.
You get off.
Nobody forgets that
No.
one.
And I think you should tell your
Tell my
person
friend
that.
that.
Yeah.
Okay.
That, you know, you don't want to go in with any hesitancy.
Okay.
To something like that. Now, here's a quick one, because I imagine we don't have a whole lot of time left in this particular segment. But a dozen women were asked if women need a man. Now, this is a good play off the subject we were just on. If women need a man, one woman out of the dozen said yes. One.
That's right.
Period. Now, a dozen men were asked if they need a woman. Almost all said yes.
Yes.
So, what is the difference in the dynamic? But see, you just played into that, which is why we went to this topic next, because this man is going to propose to put his stamp on this girl so she can't go anywhere else, because men need a woman and women don't really need the man.
I mean,
I bet he's not going to his little guy friends and saying, hey, should I propose to this
That's a good
girl?
idea.
I would say that nobody needs anybody, but
Oh, you'd be surprised.
But apparently those men need those women.
they picked the wrong 12, I guess.
Yeah. No, I think that's probably true, though, because men get very lonely. They get very depressed. They get very... there's a whole lot of things going on there with men that probably don't go on with women for whatever reason.
They struggle to have intimate relationships with other men because you can't talk about your feelings.
I don't think I want to talk about my feelings with
That's
anybody.
okay. Yeah, I'm just saying. I think that's
Man
why,
or woman, I don't
that's
think I really want to have
where
that
it
conversation.
leads, you know, whenever you can't like discuss with somebody and you don't like have close friends, I think that's why they get that way and like kind of rely on a woman or like their mom to be like a companion.
I think I have close friends, but
No,
we're
you
not...
do. You do. I'm not saying.
Thank you.
But I think you're the exception, not the rule.
Oh, I'd be... Okay.
Like it can happen, obviously.
No,
but-
I just don't. I don't understand why feelings have to be talked about. That doesn't quantify a close relationship to me.
I don't know. I think that like the whole
Like,
like,
can I depend
like
on you?
loneliness
That
thing,
to me is
that
a close
kinda
relationship.
is something you would struggle with. So if you don't feel like you can go to your guy friends and be like, "Hey, man, like I want to see you more. Like I've been feeling lonely." Like that's kind of like a feelings conversation. Like to express that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I've ever thought that, if I'm being honest with you. I
Oh
think
yes, but Scott just said men get lonely.
I do think men get lonely. I think that's probably true. But I think they're lonely for a woman because they feel incomplete.
No, it's more so, I mean, like, I guess speaking for myself at least, like, I more so just get bored, so I go to, like, my grandma's, or, like, I hang out with,
There you
like,
go.
my friends.
But God forbid these people weren't around, you might have this problem. And I think this is probably where this is coming from. People don't realize
I think you
when
just
they
get more-
leave... Listen, it takes a village.
It sounds like you
And-
need more friends.
Yeah, but see, well, people don't realize when you leave, you think it's easy to leave your little sanctuary. It's not. You don't realize all the tentacles that you've put out. It's easy to leave for, a couple months. It's not easy to leave forever. And then you realize
Where are
all
we
those...
leaving?
Well, people leave. Like,
You're
people
not
go...
leaving states?
Yeah, people go live in different states and things like this. Can you imagine if you didn't have a wife and you didn't have a kid and you didn't have... and your parents and your whole family were living in Chicago, and you moved to Texas for a job, which happens to a lot of people after college, do you think they feel as safe and protected and as comforted as they do where they had all these connections?
No, but I
No.
also think it's just kind of one of those things to where, like...
But I think women are
like-
different because women will just go to a bar and
Just
a
ma-
guy will hit on them. That's true.
It's a valid point.
Oh, yes.
Valid points.
You just go into a bar and a guy will... It doesn't matter what you look like. A guy will hit on you because he's lonely. And the girl just has to show up.
And she's like, "Oh great, I needed somebody to fix my car for me."
Well, have you ever noticed when women, and again, it's a man-woman thing, but have you ever noticed when women move to a different area, all of a sudden they find the one very quickly. And they get married very quickly. And one of the reasons I've always thought for that is loneliness. I don't think they think that, because if you thought that, you wouldn't do it. But you've left everything. And then all of a sudden, you just happen to find the one. You couldn't find the one in that state. You had to move to Texas to find your soulmate, which is usually the garbage line they give you.
Well, I mean,
but why was their soulmates? Because they're sitting at home every Friday night and they're lonely.
So, like, I got most of my friends through either school or places I've worked at.
But you still live in that area.
Yes, but
Right.
so I was just about to say, like, if I was leaving, if I was gonna leave Ohio for another job, like, obviously I'm not going to school anymore, so I can't make any more friends at school. But like, I made
People
like
go
I
away
said,
to college.
I made a lot of my friends where I work at. Now, all of my best friends, I made where I work at now.
But you don't realize that comes in processions. You're born, you go to school, you make friends. You have your family you were born into. Then you have the high school friends. Then you have the relationships you're in. Then you have the friends you meet at work.
Yeah,
your
but,
first
like,
job.
see, but, like, that's the thing.
when you leave, all that's gone.
No.
You have to start it over again.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I was gonna say. If I leave and I go get a new job, I'll just make new friends.
Okay.
I bet your friends feel very valued in
Yeah.
this moment.
Oh, so I
I
guess-
mean, it's not like I'm just gonna abandon my old friends. It's more
Well,
like
yeah, when you-
it's like I'm not just gonna be there.
No, I don't think you. No, but I think you don't realize that friendships don't happen in a day. You just don't walk into that job and go, "I'm going to make friends." It doesn't work like that. If that were true, everybody'd be your friend.
I'm pretty friendly with everybody at work.
Well, that's not what I
But
hear.
like being friendly versus
that
having
right?
friends is
that's not what
different.
the scuttlebutt is. What'd you say?
I said just being friendly versus having like a friend is different.
Yes, I think friendships take time
Definitely.
and work. And family relationships take time and work. And you have to... What is the thing that we say? I think, didn't you and I have this conversation earlier? The number one thing in family relationships, boy-girl relationships, boy-boy, girl, whatever, friendships, is communication. And when you're not around somebody a whole lot, communication wanes.
If you don't prioritize it, that's for sure. I mean, they obviously, like... FaceTime and like phone calls and stuff like that. I feel like it's like easier to do it now, obviously. But...
It's easier to do it, but it's very... I'm telling you, people, just look at the studies that are out there.
I think it's a lot easier
people
to
find
make
their
friends
person.
I think it's a lot easier to make friends than you guys make it out to be.
I don't think anybody's saying it's hard to make friends. I mean, I've got a list of people who want to be my friend, and I can't get to them all. But what I'm saying is that you don't just say... that person, that little blonde person over there, that's going to be my friend.
I mean, no, you don't.
That doesn't work
friends,
like that.
But like, you go to work, and then eventually, I assume you talk to your coworkers, and you find coworkers that you have mutual interests with, and then eventually you end up hanging out.
But eventually.
Mutual
So what do you do between first day and eventually? Because you're alone.
I don't know. Do whatever.
Right.
Read a book.
And that's where you find the one.
That's where you find the one.
No. That's not.
That's where you go to a bar because you're
see,
depressed and you find the one.
No, because then that's exactly just the same thing as making a friend.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think you've been down that road enough to understand the difference between the two.
I think you have. See, this is the whole.
You getting a headache for this show?
Yes, a little bit.
This isn't supposed to be that difficult.
This is the whole issue I have with relationships. Okay.
I don't think we're talking about relationships. I'm talking about need. You're talking about want.
No.
I'm talking about need.
Okay, but like this is the whole issue I have with relationships.
All right, lay it out.
When you get into a relationship, all of a sudden the boy, girl, whoever you get into the relationship with, all of a sudden feels the need to want to, I guess, jump your friends list almost.
Oh yes.
I've been friends with the people I've been friends with for I've had a person I've been friends with since literally kindergarten. And all of a sudden I need to hang out with you more than the person I've known since kindergarten? Mm-hmm. What kind of logic does this make? You need to get some seniority under your belt, okay?
I'll explain that to them, and they're gonna be they're out. I mean, I've known people who got so superficial that you had to be number one on their dial thing, their phone dial. Like, if something traumatic happened, you had to call them first. If they found out that you called somebody else first.
Personally, I'm calling my mother.
I'm not even sure I have my mom's phone number, so it's a whole thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't.
She wouldn't be the first on my list to call. But, she knows that, so we're all okay.
That's good.
It's not a bad thing, it's just the way it is.
I'd call my mom. My mom got my back.
I'd call one of my parents. Depends who answers.
There you go.
It depends who answers.
They don't answer their phones that
yours
well.
Yours doesn't sound much better than me.
I'm like, hopefully somebody will respond, and then I'll just
I wouldn't call anybody. See, that's the whole thing, though. So I shouldn't say that mother is a bad thing, because I really wouldn't call anybody. I don't like that. I don't like telling people trouble. I don't...
Well, I don't like telling people trouble. It's not like I just go to people to vent my issues.
But what's the problem? What is the problem I need to call somebody?
If I was on the side of the road and my car had broken down and I needed somebody to either pick me up and what am I gonna do? Just sit there?
I walk home.
Just walk home and be like, well, I'll figure it out from here.
I'll figure it out later.
Last time that happened to us, my mom said, let's call the police, so...
What are the police gonna do?
They're not your friends.
Car?
So before we go to break here, we got about 90 seconds before we go to break. Men need women more than women need men.
Amen.
Disagreed.
Because you never did make your point.
I disagree. I just don't think people really need anybody. I think that you could just hang out with your friends.
People need people.
No,
Till you're alone, you don't realize.
People need friends.
People need communication. Well, maybe not relationships, but communication.
I'll give you that.
You need somewhere to bounce it. And when you don't have anywhere to bounce it and you don't feel totally comfortable with anybody, it's a problem. Yeah. The problem we're having right now is we're just about out of time in this segment. But we're going to come back. Now, see, there's a smooth transition for you. Better. But we're going to come back with a whole nother half of this program and a whole nother set of current events that you're not going to want to miss. Be back right after this. And welcome back to the second half of the exchange with Kerrington Nelson, Matt Morgan. By the way, you can catch our radio program each and every Friday Night Live, 8:15 to 10 p.m. on this station. Go to wwgh1071.com or download the free TuneIn app and search WGH Talk. And don't forget, April 5th, 10 p.m., Peacock Network, all around the world, the Hall of Fame, WWE, 21,000 sold out at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, where this country was born, the Constitution was signed, Constitution Hall, and the Liberty Bell. Are you going to try to ring the Liberty Bell?
If we're allowed.
Now, see, she really thought you could ring the Liberty Bell. You can't even get near the Liberty Bell. It's in glass.
Okay.
But God bless your heart and your determination to history. I appreciate it each and every week.
I love history.
The Liberty Bell was casted, and then we rang it, and then it cracked.
It cracked. Yes, I knew it was cracked.
Yeah, and
Well,
then
hey, you have something in common with it.
and then we melted it down, and then we remolded it, and then we rang it again, and it cracked again. We were like, we just give up at this point.
Well, after 2 cracks, you don't want to mess with it.
Yeah.
we just left it.
When you realize something's cracked, you just leave it alone. You say, listen, I give up on that. All right. Let's go into the next stuff. How you feeling? It's good to have you back.
A little attacked right now.
No, I've missed you. I wasn't able to do that the last couple weeks.
Oh, yeah.
I missed you. All right.
I missed you too.
Oh, that's so nice.
I miss Matt. I miss Sean. I miss everybody.
God
I
bless
miss
your
being
heart.
here.
Well, good.
Yeah.
I didn't really know she was gone, but
You know. You just said you did, so.
I knew you were gone, but I didn't really feel.
You didn't feel the miss.
But we're glad to have you back.
Thank you.
Nobody else wears shirts that look like rugs in my house
That's
like you
true.
do. All right, now on to the next current event here. Let's do this one real quick, and we'll come back and get this other one if we have time. All right. We love these Washington Post advice columns, and I still don't understand why the Washington Post, a real good, legitimate newspaper, has an advice column, but to each their own, they do. A dad wrote to the Washington Post and said his 20-year-old college daughter is coming home for a break from college, and she's coming home with her boyfriend. And the dad is saying no to sleeping in the same room. Now, the mom wrote to the... Did I say the dad wrote to the Washington Post?
Yes,
it's the mom who wrote to the Washington Post. Because this is what the dad is saying. The daughter's coming home, 20 years old, with her boyfriend. They're not sleeping in the same room. The mom wrote to the Washington Post is saying, listen, we know that they're in the same room when they're away at college, and does my husband need to get over this? Or is it my house, my rules? That's the question.
So, I think that I have always respected my parents' rules for the terms of my my house, my rules. But like, also I would also say that like, out of respect for him, I wouldn't do it. But at the same time, like, she's 20, he's 20. I think at that point they're pretty much grown enough to make their own decisions. You should probably just let them do them at that point.
Isn't this a pie-eyed thing for the father? I mean, I can certainly understand why he wouldn't want that going on in his house, but it's, I think the, horse is out of the barn. You can't put the, spilt milk back in the container. All right, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 23 and I've had boyfriends that have spent the night, but like they've never been allowed to like stay in my room or anything. So like I relate to that, and like I'm like, yeah, I think it's their house, their rules.
Now, wait a second. Now we're going to delve deeper into that. Hold on. What now? So you've had boyfriends who spent the night. Because they didn't have any place to go?
Yeah, like some of them would live like an hour away or something, so it would just be like easier than like driving back, so we're going to hang out kind of late or something. Or if they were coming to like, we were going to like Cedar Point the next morning or something, and we were going to get up and leave early. So it's like, okay, you can stay here and then we'll like go in the morning.
So did you feel objectionable that your parents did not let them stay in your room?
No. No, I mean, my parents like said the rules,
what's the problem?
So like, there isn't a problem. I'm just
But you
saying.
said you presented it like there was a problem.
Oh, no,
You
sorry.
said, I'm 23, and I've had boyfriends.
Well, you said the daughter is 20, and I was like, I'm 23, and like,
so are you coming down, that's what I'm trying to figure. Are you coming down on the side that the father's right, or that the mother's right?
I mean, in his house, his rules, I guess, like, the parents can, like, make a decision together, and then, like, I feel like the daughter and the boyfriend should just, like, do whatever the parents say.
But did you ever in those situations, because this is similar, I guess, did you ever, like, inquire, could the boyfriend sleep in my room?
No.
Oh, because you knew where it was going.
Yeah, because I knew where it was going to go.
Okay, but I mean, so if you were not at home, would that ever be an issue?
With what? What do you mean?
Like if you were at his house, or he was, let's say you were at his parents' house. Is it different for the boy, I wonder?
I don't know.
No, I'm just saying, would you have a problem with it? Like, would you think, oh, should anybody be ever staying in the same room is the point here, when they're with their parents?
I don't know.
Took a minute to get to that
I
question.
feel like it just depends on the parents, though, because like you said, like the mom said she's like fine with it. She's like, it is what it is.
But I mean, is it uncomfortable?
I feel like it's a little weird.
That's what I would think. I would think if you know your parents don't want that to be happening.
That's kind of weird.
Even though, I mean, honest to God, I mean, is this really the time to be getting to know your friends? I don't think that's really.
Yeah, there's not a reason to fight about it. It's like, why? Like, what's the point?
I mean, seriously. Let's come on. What do you think, Matt?
I mean, like I said, I don't think that it's all that big of a deal. I personally would have just kind of went with what the dad said and like, all right, I guess we're not.
Yeah, but it does come down a little dictator. You know, I can see that because, as I said, I think we did do this topic last Friday night, and it seems to me as if, let's say, the father comes to visit the daughter at school, and oh, wait a second, the boyfriend's staying in the dorm room with the daughter. Now, it's not his house, his rules, but what he did not like is essentially right in front of his face now.
You see, but I'm like, so I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I can almost guarantee that I do things in my house that my mom and dad did not allow us to do. Like, I like just things like I like eat in the living room.
Do tell.
We used to not be able to eat in the living room. Now I eat in the living room. Just things like that. They're like, I'm in your house.
I think it's a little different than eating in the living room.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day,
I think you can skip over that one.
It's still the same thing. Like,
no, it's not. No, not at all.
Why? Just because of the connotations here?
I don't think it's the connotation even, really. I think it's just the fact.
They're laying in the bed next to each other sleeping?
No. Somebody could even sleep on the floor. I think that's the wrong connotation to have here. We're not talking about a physical...
Yeah.
I mean, maybe people are when they hear this story. I didn't go to physical relationship. What I went to was the fact that this is my daughter, and I think all men see their daughters as little girls and protective. And to have a boy in their room for whatever reason is just awkward to them because you wouldn't do it. It doesn't necessarily have to be a physical relationship. It could be just, I mean, she's in there with the guy. I mean, what is that?
I mean, I don't know. I just...
Like, I think if you went to... Do people still go to drive-ins? I know they still exist.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the drive-in.
Okay, so let's say...
Sorry. I do.
Let's say you go to the drive-in with your family, but you want to sit in your boyfriend's car and you're a girl. Now, the father, I bet, is going to glance over there every so often and think, what's going on over there? You know, it's an uncomfortable situation for the father, I think.
Yeah. No, I've been in this situation, too. Like, I've
Imagine.
gone to drive-ins with my family and boyfriends.
And how did that go for you?
Well, I mean, most of the time when we're at the drive-in, we either are, like, sitting out in, like, lawn chairs or, like, we'll have the, like, trunk open, but, like, my brother will be sitting back there, so, like...
Who walks around nude? We learned that on a recent episode.
Yeah, who doesn't
Well,
walk
it's
around?
been out there now.
That's
We
true.
can't put that milk back in the jar
Yeah,
either.
can't hide that. So, yes, yeah. So, like, it's never really been, like, an issue, I feel like, for me.
So they don't care?
No, I've gotten...
So they do care at home, but they don't care at the drive-in?
No, I've gotten in trouble, though, for things like if we're, like, in the living room or something and we're both, like, laying on the couch together, they don't like that. It just doesn't,
Well,
it doesn't
see, now
look
there you go.
appropriate.
Because, well, now what's the difference between laying on the couch together and laying in the bed together in the bedroom? I think that's very similar.
Well, they said they don't like it on the couch. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
The
I
act
think
of
that's what-
laying
right.
is, like, the issue, I think.
So why would you think that doing that on the couch is any different than doing it in the bedroom? Because you just said you would never do that, and you wouldn't even broach the subject, but you do it on the couch.
Oh, because we're not doing anything. You're just laying there, like, watching
But I don't think you
TV.
have to be doing anything in the bedroom either. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I don't think this is necessarily
yeah.
about physical relationships.
I guess I just don't see the laying as such a big issue.
Like, do you kiss people in front of your parents?
No.
There you go.
No.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. It's a different thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree with you. I'm on your side with it. I
don't think I have a side in
I
this
don't really
particular
do
one.
the laying that much, like, anymore, because they've, like,
But didn't
expressed
you
that
know
they
when you
don't
did
like
it, in
that.
your back of your head, with your parents in the house, when you're laying there with a guy on the... It isn't in your head, you're thinking, this probably isn't going to float. Yes, that you even have to think about it.
No, I'm...
You said,
It's weird. I feel like my perception's tainted by being told you're not allowed to do that, like, already. So I'm like... I don't think I thought it was, like, super weird at first. I was like, oh, like, you know,
what
you're in
happened?
the
How did
living
it
room.
break up? That's what we want to know.
How did it break up?
Yeah, did, like, a parent come over and say,
No. It was like boyfriend went home, and then at the end they come knock on your door in your room, and they're like, hey, no more of that. Like, no.
And did you think that you didn't expect that to happen?
No, not the first time. No.
So even after the conversation, you just saw, I'll do it again.
No, I didn't do it again. The first time that happened, I wasn't laying on the couch thinking I'm gonna get in trouble for this.
What age, now this is interesting, what age could you do this? Because obviously, at some point you can do this.
Well, I mean, apparently when you get your own house.
I don't know, my mom said she would not, she doesn't even like to lay on the couch at her parents' house with my dad, so.
Yeah, but do you think the parents really care at that point?
Yeah, but
I don't know, but they don't. I think the rest of my life, I don't think I'm ever gonna do that kind of stuff in front of my parents.
Yeah, but here, see, this is the whole point of why I don't think this is a physical relationship story, because I believe that even if you were in the same room with your boyfriend or girlfriend, that would not be the point that you would be thinking about a physical relationship, because you're in your childhood bedroom, you're in the house with your parents and maybe siblings. It just doesn't work right.
I just don't have kids. I think that's probably the issue.
By the way, you know what? And I'm not going to get deep into this, but somebody the other day, now here's where people share too much. The other day, I was having a conversation with a guy who's in his early 20s. I don't know exactly how old he is, but he's in his just graduated college, so I'm guessing 21, 22. And right in the middle of the now we were not anywhere near a conversation like this. Am I boring you?
No.
But this person,
tired.
You want to lay down? You want to lay down over there? There's nobody over there. You can lay down. Nobody will judge you.
Lay appropriately.
Lay down over there. The boy gets into a conversation that I cannot talk about here, but I will tell you it is personal. And
now I want to know.
No.
I want to know.
And I literally, wow, I thought, and that's what was going on in my brain as I try to keep a normal face. Wow, you're telling me this? Wow.
Oh, so it's something
a
little personal there.
And then at the end, I'd say, oh, no, that's perfectly normal. And
you did? Were you just lying, though?
Well, not normal for me, but it sounded like it was normal for him. God bless his heart.
You were just yep, for you, buddy. That's
well, I didn't want to follow up because I was afraid he was going to keep talking.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't want to get any deeper into that conversation.
Right.
Anyway, I like this other time. I know we did this. I think we did this one with Jess on Friday and Camden on Friday night. But it's such an interesting story because you both are Gen Z. And Gen Z, this is a study, tanning beds are making a comeback with Gen Z that they have not in recent years. And obviously, we feel bad about this because they've been known to cause cancer and a whole lot of other problems with skin. But yet, a person from Gen Z took to TikTok and said this quote, "I would rather die hot than live ugly." That's Gen Z for you.
No, I think that's TikTok for you.
TikTok. Well, that's but regardless, it's a Gen Z person saying that.
Yeah, but Gen
in
Z
regard to this
TikTok.
whole,
See, but
you can dissect it down. But the point is,
TikTok didn't exist when you were a thing.
But is this what you need to be doing? Because listen,
no.
I think my generation got heavy into tanning beds. I think was the heavy tanning bed generation.
Yeah, until
and everybody
skin cancer.
I don't know if it was, I mean, skin cancer happened to a few of those people, but the big thing was people don't realize that you get those white dots where your tan was, and it will wrinkle you up as you start to get older. And I don't think you don't see that at the time, but give it about 10 years and you will see it.
Well, yeah, you're basically cooking your skin.
Yeah, but but at the time, it's this. I want to be hot. That's the look. I want to look that way. So why? Why is Gen Z so superficial that we have to come back to the tanning bed? You're Gen Z.
I don't know. I don't like tanning beds.
Well, that clears it all up.
I mean, they give you skin cancer. That's a bad thing. I mean,
well, a lot of things can give you illnesses, but I don't think that's the problem here. I think the problem is the idea that I'm willing to do anything to look a certain way. Superficiality is more important than life, is more important than anything.
I don't know. I just blame it on social media.
That's what I was gonna say. I think just seeing people online, kind of in the sense of you can compare yourself easier. I feel like most of the people that you would see online that would be the Instagram baddies or something that will look super attractive and stuff. You don't really see those people in real life. But if you're surrounding yourself with that online and you're spending a lot of time online, you're gonna feel like that's what's normal, kind of. So you're oh, they look like that. I kind of need to look like that. That's what's normal.
It's kind of the same thing that Mike McGinnis argued. He blamed social media on the fact that.
By the way, Mike McGinnis is the star of My 600 Pound Life from TLC. He called in last Friday. Check it out if you want to see the show, hear the show.
But basically the same point he made. Social media sets this.
Yes, it does, but who cares?
I don't get on social media, so pro strat. Don't get on social
Well,
media.
I think
and it's not
that's
a problem.
what the Gen Z spends a lot of time on social media. Like you said, TikTok. Like I know that's a big one. Like I stayed up till 4 o'clock in the morning last night watching TikToks. Like I couldn't fall asleep. I was just scrolling.
By the way,
like,
do you know how much time you spend on TikTok a day?
it depends on the day. Like it's either like no time or I'm spending like 4 hours on it.
I spend I think on average I spend 2.5 hours a day on my phone.
That's good. That's not bad.
See, I don't.
And you're spending more time than that on just TikTok.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
who has that kind of time? See, this is where I get lost on the whole thing. I'm busy.
It's like if I'm like I get off of work at 8 and then you go home and then you have time to just like sit on the couch until you fall asleep or something.
Like in between the day I'll get on my phone.
The older you get, the more easier it is to fall asleep.
So that's what it is. So you're just falling asleep. You don't need the phone
No,
time.
I mean, I usually have like a list of things to do.
Oh no, I can't be on my phone if I'm trying to go to sleep. I will not go to sleep if I'm on my phone.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there's always something I need to do. I mean, it's just what am I not going to get to tonight? That's what it is.
Yeah, but a lot of the time, I listen to music all the time. Like I have earbuds in my pocket all the time. Like I got earbuds in my pocket right now. So I always have an earbud in at work, and a lot of time I'll pull out my phone and I'll look for a song, or I'll skip it, I'll skip songs, or I'll be responding to a message. So just all that in the day adds up to roughly 2.5 hours. So all the responding to messages and the changing of music.
I don't know. I just think that there's a lot of superficiality out there, and it kind of goes into the other story we talked about last week, where Oprah Winfrey has now lost a lot of weight. She's 70 years old, and she's coming out and saying, listen, I was weight shamed all my life. And
I don't know why she didn't just come out and say it sooner.
Well, I think to some degree she did, but when you're heavier, it's hard to say you're being weight shamed because you're still heavy, so they're just going to hit you with that. But she now that she's lost the weight, she's saying, yeah, I was treated differently when I weighed a different thing. So, this is, and Mike McGinnis called in. That was what propelled him to, the Oprah story is what propelled him to call in last Friday night at 545 pounds, originally starting at 745 pounds, is that he said they call him Big Mike at work, and he doesn't like that. And that the women who he messages, he'll message them, and they'll say, oh, yeah, you're a really nice guy, and I like you, I just don't want to be with anybody right now. And then he'll turn around, and they're with somebody. He'll find their profile on some kind of dating app. That's terrible.
I mean, I think that, a lot of those things go on with, for instance, I used to be a bigger person. When I was a small kid, I had nickname, like Maddie Moo Moo was a nickname of mine.
Did you like that?
It never bothered me.
Okay.
Genuinely, I never cared. They called me, they used to, Fatty Maddie.
That's nice.
I don't know, it just never bothered me. It was always just kind of like...
Do I hear 3? You got another one?
When I was in school, I had Marshmallow.
Marshmallow.
One of my friends gave me that one.
Okay.
Good friends you got there.
Yeah, but these are not terms of endearment, is the point.
I always took it
I'm
that
not
way.
saying Oprah was heartbroken over every nasty thing that was said.
Me.
Well, Big Mike lets it go along, he says, but he doesn't like it.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. He doesn't like it. It genuinely never, one way or another, I didn't care.
Well,
it was more like a nickname.
I don't know. I think you do care. Everybody's different. What do you think?
I feel like commenting on weight in any sense kind of gets old. Like if somebody's super skinny or super big, like the name like Big Mike, like that's, I don't know, it's like you're constantly bringing up the fact that he's like bigger. So it's just like, it seems like it's relevant to who he is.
But my point was last week, and apparently nobody liked this, I guess what the point is that weight is the last thing you can still shame people for and get away with it. You can't shame people for religion anymore. You can't shame people for ethnicity. You can't shame people for disability. People used to do this. As awful as it sounds, they did. And you could get away with that. You're not going to get away with that at work now, but you can call somebody fat. Now, you might be called on the carpet, but you're not going to be fired for it. And there is no group that's going to come and protect you like the Anti-Defamation League, like the Anti-Semitic League. Nobody's going to protect you for being fat. So, is it the last sacred cow? It certainly feels like it.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, actually. I mean, I think that, like you said, I mean, you might get in trouble and they might be like, hey, like, you can't do that kind of stuff, but it's not something where it's like, that's a bad person, like, fireable offense, first instance.
But you make fun of somebody's handicap, you will, unless you have some big protection, they will fire you.
Yeah.
If you make fun of somebody's religion, not only will they fire you, if you tell a group, that group will be there protesting on your behalf. And certainly if you make fun of somebody's race or ethnicity, you'll be gone before you finish the sentence.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true. That, like, I feel like it's different. It's like treated different. Why do you think that is?
Because there's nobody protecting that group. There's no isms. There's no groups.
But like, why don't you think there's an ism or a group to protect them?
Because I don't think that people see it as an illness. I think it's seen much like depression. I think you can make fun of that, and I think that's why a lot of people hide that they have depression and anxiety and are on any kind of medication, because I think people judge that, and they still get away with judging it. And just snap out of it. Why do you need to be on that? Just feel better. What's wrong with you? You got all this going for you. You know, I think that's what the attitude is. And that's a sacred cow. So I think it's still there, although there are groups that are protecting that, and so many people are now admitting that they have that problem, that it's getting a little more acceptable, but it's not seen like a disease. It's not seen like cancer or stroke or any of that. It's not treated like that, when more people commit suicide from depression and anxiety than any of those other things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. I think weight is kind of similar to the depression and anxiety, where like they're both kind of like getting better though. Like I don't see that at least in my work very much, where people are like commenting on people's weight and talking about that. I feel like it's still not like something that is like openly allowed to happen. Like maybe what Oprah is saying, like you get treated different though. Like people have like talked about the whole pretty privilege thing before. So like if people are like good looking, like people are just going to be nicer to them. Like,
yeah, but you know the thing here is Oprah did well. Oprah's a billionaire. Oprah could have had trainers. Oprah could have had special meals, and I think she did over the years, but it just didn't work for her. And no matter how successful she was and how many people were in her corner, the magazines were always your husband, your boyfriend's leaving you, or Oprah 350 pounds. It's always, that was the way they took a dig. It didn't have to be true. It just had to be a fat joke. And no, what are you going to sue for? What are you going to do? They couldn't make fun of her ethnicity. They couldn't make fun of her gender. They couldn't make fun of her idiosyncrasies. But that, you can
People make fun of women all the time. And vice versa.
You're not going to get away with that on a big publication. You're not going to say, woman. That woman did well. Billionaire. Self-made billionaire. Came from poverty.
Wow, didn't know that. But yeah, even, I don't know, I just think that like you said, yeah, you are allowed to like make comments on that kind of thing, and there isn't anybody that's going to protect them necessarily.
All I'm saying is there's a big, this ties into the whole thing with the tanning bed, there's a big superficiality in the world that people will eventually grow out of. But I do believe it's related right now more toward Gen Z, because Gen Z is the younger group right now that's in that bracket of not settled in for their life, but not a child. So I think there's a problem with that group where they're all like, oh, okay, well, the most important thing is to look good. Because, what else is there at this point? Well, I don't know. I don't think that's the most important trait in somebody else. It's silly. And oddly enough, there is one more story that we haven't done that ties into this whole thing, what we're talking about. Former Disney star Christy Carlson Romano has now talked about having body image issues. And when she was a Disney star, young girl, she went to her mom, and her mom suggested, well, you can have plastic surgery. It's an option. And she did. And she's now admitting to that. And that's because she didn't feel happy with her own image. Oprah, a billionaire, didn't feel happy with her own image. People going to tanning beds don't feel... Nobody's ever happy is what we're learning.
I could see definitely with like a Disney star, because I mean you're going to look at other people who are in a similar position to you, and I feel like most people that are stars or famous like are the stereotypical like beautiful skinny people. So like if you are in that position,
Oprah's not.
No,
who's bigger than Oprah?
No, I'm not like. But the other people like around Oprah, like other actors, like I feel like most of them are going to be skinny, like beauty queen type look.
See, I always feel the ones that stick out are the ones that are not.
Right, they look different. But I still think that whenever you're up in that area, you would probably be like, oh, like, I feel like I'm supposed to fit in with everybody else who's here. And, like, if they all look super skinny, like, obviously then there's, like, pressure. You don't want to be the one person that's sticking out as, like, the big one.
Yeah, but do you want to look like everybody else is what this really comes down to? I mean, do you have any style of your own? Do you have any character? Do you have any substance to you besides of how you look?
I always think that about lip filler. Like a lot of people, I get that because that's kind of a more attainable like form of plastic surgery where it's like not
lip filler.
like yeah. Have you not heard about that? I feel like
No, I know
see
people
girls on shows a lot that get that done, and like you can tell. I'm like, oh, everybody's lips like look the same here. They're like puffy and big, and like they look like they've had lip filler done. And so I'm like, wow, like once. Like, are you gonna like that for the next 70 years whenever you're older and you're like forced to still have that?
I'll tell you what's interesting. Now, I know what I'm going to tell you here in a second, but I want you to take a guess because I don't think you know the answer to this. Do you know what Disney star Christy Carlson Romano's mom and she allowed her to get done, plastic surgery wise?
No.
Take a guess.
I don't know. I don't even know what kind of plastic surgery you can get.
There's a ton.
A nose job.
Nose job. Okay.
Breast implants.
That's what it was.
See, that's what I was going to go with, but I was like, no, she's a child.
That's what you think about it. It's odd, and that's what was odd about that to me, is that it was her chest. That's what she had done. And I thought...
That's a child?
No, I thought a Disney star, this is what you're unhappy about, but I guess that is an insecurity of a lot of people. For a lot of people. Certainly her.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's another thing where I feel like whenever you have more money, like, and everybody else looks a certain way.
Now, why did you guess that? The girl guessed that. Why did you guess that? I wouldn't have, like, if I did not know, I would not have guessed that.
I think popular plastic surgeries in my mind are always the lip filler, breast implants, and, like, nose jobs. So,
but what, I mean, honestly, why?
I think that those are easier, I feel like, and they're noticeable whenever you get it done. Like, if you were to have forehead reconstruction or like I don't know, I don't even know what other like a bigger butt, I don't know, I feel like you don't notice those things as obviously, but if you get your nose done, like I think your nose is gonna look different, like obviously your lips will
I think
look
certainly
bigger.
having work done in your chest, you're gonna look different,
right? And so it's like a noticeable thing. I feel like I don't know, it seems to be a popular one that people do.
I just was shocked by that because I thought this is what I don't think she was doing this because she was a Disney star. She had body image issues, I think, is what this is all coming back to. So I guess the point is, do you just get it fixed now? Nothing unique about you?
No, I think because once you do the one thing, you're gonna feel good about yourself for a minute, and then after a little bit, you're gonna find
you can be addicted to plastic surgery.
You're gonna find another thing that you don't like. And then once that thing gets fixed, you're going to find another thing.
Well, and this comes to the tanning. Have you ever seen somebody who started tanning and, you look so good. It's Ohio, it's January, you're tan, you look good. Because nobody else is tan in January. And you feed off that. It's some kind of endorphin that goes off. And then you don't stop. Then it's Botox. Then it's anything else, hair dye, it's whatever. It's whatever makes people go, oh, you look good. You don't. If somebody ever says, how old do you think I am? Nobody wants you to guess high. They all want you to guess low. And that is a sign of, don't I look good? That's what, you look good for your age. That's what it is.
It's only happened to me one time. But if anybody just unprompted were to ask me how old they think they look, I always shoot like 10 years higher than they actually look.
Oh yeah, you never want to guess.
I always shoot 10 years higher
just
because.
Bothered.
Yeah, people who guess you're barking up the wrong tree there.
10 years higher.
I don't even know why anybody asks that, but whatever.
Yeah.
I think they just
it's
want,
weird. What's the point? Just so you can be like, oh, they think I look young.
Yeah, they just want the compliment.
And then they feel bad if you guess high.
And that's what I do. I always just intentionally guess high, destroy their confidence, and hope like they never do it again.
That's what it does. Oh, poor.
Oh wow.
And there you go. And we're down to 60 seconds, but this has been a fun episode. It's good to have you back.
Thank
it's always
you.
fun having you here.
Glad to be here.
It blows by.
It does.
The hour
That was
blows
so
right by.
quick.
That was so quick. Doesn't seem like an hour. And listen every Friday night, 8 to 10 on WGH Talk Radio, TuneIn app. And don't forget, coming up on April 5th, Hall of Fame, WWE Peacock Network, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, Hall of Fame. Don't miss that for Love Nor Money. For Scott Spears, Kerrington, and Matt, we're heading for the dugout.